Good morning. We have a new chapter or a new part of Jungle Book that we'll be reading from today. Yesterday, we started the book Jungle Book, which is actually a series of short stories. Several of them follow the character Mowgli, who you're very familiar with, I'm sure, if you've seen any version of this book turned into a movie. So we heard about him being introduced into the story in yesterday's reading, but he wasn't called by name. Do you remember what happened? That's right. This young human baby was found by a pack of wolves. And at this point, when we left off, they were protecting the baby from the tiger. Now, they weren't saying they're going to do everything to protect the baby at all costs, but they did want to protect the baby from the tiger, Shere Khan. And they do not like Shere Khan. So mainly they just wanted to prevent him from getting anything that he wanted. And Shere Khan, do you remember why they hated him? He's hunting in their territory. Yeah. So he is a lame tiger, and he hunts cattle. So he is still kind of the top of the food chain in the area, but he actually is not as fearsome as most tigers would be. For today, I'm just going to be reading aloud to you, and you can just listen. If you've got your book, you can follow along on page 11. If not, you can just listen. And it is I, Raksha, the demon, who answer, is what Shere Khan is saying. The man's cub is mine, Lungri, mine to me. He shall not be killed. He shall live to run with the pack and to hunt with the pack. And in the end, look you, hunter of little naked cubs, frog eater, fish killer, he shall hunt thee. Now get hence, or by the Sambor that I killed, I eat no starved cattle. Back thou goest to thy mother, burned beast of the jungle, lamer than ever thou camest into the world. Go. Oh, so I think I had said on accident that was Shere Khan. Talking to Shere Khan, Raksha is the mother wolf speaking. And she is getting protective of little Mowgli. And she is saying, you need to leave. Go to your mother, burned beast of the jungle. So she's saying, get out of here. The baby is not yours. Now, Father Wolf looked on, amazed. He'd almost forgotten the days when he won Mother Wolf in fair fight from 5 other wolves, when she ran in the pack and was not called the demon for compliment's sake. So basically, he's remembering that she used to be a very fearsome animal. She was this fierce wolf, and she's tamed down since having her cubs, it seems like, but now she's back in full force. Shere Khan might have faced Father Wolf, but he could not stand up against Mother Wolf, for he knew that where he was, she had all the advantage of the ground and would fight to the death. So he backed out of the cave mouth growling, and when he was clear, he shouted, "Each dog barks in his own yard. We will see what the pack will say to this fostering of man cubs. The cub is mine, and to my teeth he will come in the end, O bush-tailed thieves." So it seems to me like Shere Khan is just getting competitive. He doesn't really want to eat the little human boy, which is Mowgli. He doesn't really want to eat him. He just wants to be able to show that he's more powerful and braver than the wolves. But Mother Wolf threw herself down, panting among the cubs, and Father Wolf said to her gravely, "Shere Khan speaks this much truth. The cub must be shown to the pack," meaning not just their little wolf pack family, but the whole pack of wolves. "Wilt thou still keep him, Mother?" "Keep him?" she gasped. "He came naked by night, alone and very hungry, yet he was not afraid. Look, he's pushed one of my babes to one side already, and that lame butcher," Shere Khan, "would have killed him and would have run off to the Waingunga while the villagers here hunted through all our lairs in revenge. Keep him? Assuredly, I will keep him. Lie still, little frog. O thou Mowgli, for Mowgli the frog I will call thee. The time will come when thou wilt hunt Shere Khan as he has hunted thee. But what will our pack say? Said Father Wolf. Well, the law of the jungle lays down very clearly that any wolf may, when he marries, withdraw from the pack he belongs to. But as soon as his cubs are old enough to stand on their feet, he must bring them to the pack council, which is generally held once a month at full moon, in order that the other wolves may identify them. So when wolves have their cubs, they can go away for a while, but then they have to go back to the meetings when the cubs are old enough to stand and to show off the rest of the pack. And so this would help to make sure that the wolf pack doesn't attack anybody within their own pack. They know who to protect, basically. After that inspection, the cubs are free to run where they please, and until they have killed their first buck, no excuse is accepted if a grown wolf of the pack kills one of them. So it's okay if a wolf from the pack kills a cub before they're introduced. But the punishment is death where the murderer can be found. And if you think for a minute, you will see, did I skip over this? No, okay. And if you think for a minute, you will see that this must be so. So they need to introduce the pack to Mowgli. Now, Father Wolf waited till his cubs could run a little, and then on the night of the pack meeting, took them and Mowgli and Mother Wolf to the Council Rock, a hilltop covered with stones and boulders where 100 wolves could hide. Wow. Now, Akela, the great gray lone wolf, who led all the pack by strength and cunning, lay out at full length on his rock. So far we have Mother Wolf, Raksha, and a Father Wolf, and then Akela is this new wolf. And below him sat 40 or more wolves of every size and color, from badger-colored veterans who could handle a buck all alone, to young black 3-year-olds who thought they could. The lone wolf had led them for a year now. He had fallen twice into a wolf trap in his youth, and once he had been beaten and left for dead. So he knew the manners and customs of men. There was very little talking at the rock. The cubs tumbled over each other in the center of the circle where their mothers and fathers sat, and now and again a senior wolf would go quietly up to a cub, look at him carefully, and return to his place on noiseless feet. Sometimes a mother would push her cub far out into the moonlight to be sure that he had not been overlooked. The mothers, you can see, really need to make every effort to have everybody know the cubs, or else they might start attacking them. Now, Akela from his rock would cry, "Ye know the law, ye know the law. Look well, O wolves." So it's not just on the mothers to say, look at these cubs really closely so you know who's part of your pack, but it's also a responsibility on the wolves to really carefully look at these cubs. So it's a responsibility for both of them. And the anxious mothers would take up the call, look well, O wolves. So they're encouraging all the wolves to see, look at my kids, look at these little wolf cubs. Know who you need to protect and who you need to not kill. Now, at last, and Mother Wolf's neck bristles lifted as this time came. Father Wolf pushed Mowgli the frog, as they called him, into the center, where he sat laughing and playing with some pebbles that glistened in the moonlight. Now, Akela never raised his head from his paws, but went on with the monotonous cry. It's like this dull cry of, look well, look well. He's used to saying this every time, but what's different this time? There's a man cub there, that's right. Now a muffled roar came up from behind the rocks, the voice of Shere Khan crying, "The cub is mine, give him to me. What have the free people to do with a man's cub?" Akela never even twitched his ears. All he said was, "Look well, O wolves, what have the free people to do with the orders of any save the free people? Look well." Now there was a chorus of deep growls, and a young wolf in his 4th year flung back Shere Khan's question to Akela. "What have the free people to do with a man's cub?" free people being the wolves. Now, the law of the jungle lays down that if there is any dispute as to the right of a cub to be accepted by the pack, he must be spoken for by at least 2 members of the pack who are not his father and mother. So basically, if there's someone like Mowgli who they're trying to get to enter the pack, then it can't just be the father and mother who speak up and say, we're going to have him as part of the pack. 2 other people in the pack need to be okay with it and to basically say, we give permission. Who speaks for this cub? Said Akela. Among the free people, the wolves, who speaks? Now, there was no answer, and Mother Wolf got ready for what she knew would be her last fight, if things came to fighting. Wow, she's willing to fight for Mowgli. She could end her life just because she wants to make sure that little Mowgli is protected. Then the only other creature who is allowed at the pack council, who's not a wolf, Baloo, the sleepy brown bear who teaches the wolf cubs the law of the jungle. Old Baloo, who can come and go where he pleases because he eats only nuts and roots and honey, rose up on his hindquarters and grunted. The man's cub? The man's cub? He said. I speak for the man's cub. There's no harm in a man's cub. I have no gift of words, but I speak the truth. Let him run by the pack and be entered with the others. I myself will teach him. Okay, so that's one. Baloo is speaking up and saying, we need to let him in. Why do they want to let him? Or why does Baloo feel like he should be welcomed in? He's no threat. There's no reason not to. He's not going to hurt them. Oh, we need yet another, though, said Akela. One more person needs to stand up for Mowgli. Baloo has spoken, and he is our teacher for the young cubs. Who speaks besides Baloo? Now, a black shadow dropped down into the circle. It was Bagheera, the Black Panther, inky black all over, but with the panther markings showing up in certain lights like the pattern of watered silk. Everybody knew Bagheera, and nobody cared to cross his path, for he was as cunning as Tabaki, the jackal from the last reading. He was as bold as the wild buffalo and as reckless as the wounded elephant. But he had a voice as soft as wild honey dripping from a tree, and a skin softer than down. O Akela and ye the free people, he purred, I have no right in your assembly, but the law of the jungle says that if there is a doubt which is not a killing matter in regard to a new cub, the life of that cub may be bought at a price. And the law does not say who may or may not pay that price, am I right? So he's not supposed to be there, but he says the law of the jungle says that if there's a doubt, which is not a killing matter, the life of that cub may be bought at a price. Bought. Good, good, said the young wolves, who are always hungry. Listen to Bagheera. The cub can be bought for a price. It is the law. So they're wanting to kind of buy him out to eat little Mowgli. Knowing that I have no right to speak here, I ask your leave. Speak then, cried 20 voices. Ask your leave means he wants to be able to speak up. To kill a naked cub, he says, is shame. So why would you kill just a baby? Besides, he may make better sport for you when he is grown. That means he's telling them, maybe you want to wait until he grows up and then you can eat him. Baloo had spoken in his behalf. Now to Baloo's word, I will add 1 bull and a fat one, newly killed, not half a mile from here, if ye will accept the man's cub according to the law. So he's paying for Mowgli to stay, and his payment is, what kind of animal? A bull? Yeah. He saw a bull, a little ways over, and he should have been able to eat it, but he's offering it to them. You guys can eat the bull if you make sure that Mowgli stays alive. Now, he says, is it difficult? Will you do it? There's a clamor of scores of voices saying, what matter? He will die in the winter rains anyway. He will scorch in the sun. What harm can a naked frog do us? Let him run with the pack. Where is the bull, Bagheera? Let him run with the pack. Let him be accepted. And then came Akela's deep bay, crying, look well, O wolves. Now Mowgli was still deeply interested in the pebbles, and he did not notice when the wolves came and looked at him one by one. At last they all went down the hill for the dead bull, and only Akela, Bagheera, Baloo, and Mowgli's own wolves were left. Shere Khan roared still in the night, for he was very angry that Mowgli had not been handed over to him. "I roar well," said Bagheera under his whiskers, "for the time comes when this naked thing will make thee roar to another tune, or I know nothing of man." So he's saying men will actually be able to hurt the animals when they grow up. Specifically, he'd be able to hurt Shere Khan, the tiger, because men may not be naturally as strong as something like a tiger, but if they have the weapons, then they're a lot more dangerous. "It was well done," said Akela. "Men and their cubs are very wise. He may be a help in time." "Truly a help in time of need, for none can hope to lead the pack forever," said Bagheera. Akela said nothing. He was thinking of the time that comes to every leader of every pack, when his strength goes from him and he gets feebler and feebler, till at last he is killed by the wolves, and a new leader comes up to be killed in his turn. Akela knows that he's not the strongest for long. Eventually he's going to really get old and more weary, and other wolves will take over. "Take him away," he said to Father Wolf, "and train him as befits one of the free people." And that is how Mowgli was entered into the Seeonee wolf pack at the price of a bull and on Baloo's good word. Okay, that's where we're going to end our story for today, but we're not done with this short story, Mowgli's Brothers. We are going to continue hearing about that tomorrow. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Mowgli is not going to be taught by Baloo in this next part, but we are going to get to that. Remember how Baloo promised that he would teach him. But we're going to hear more about him with Shere Khan and with the other cubs in his pack. Okay, we are going to stop there. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.